Hey everyone, Lucas here. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about schedules. Oh no, schedules. For many of you who've tried to follow schedules before, whether it was at school or at work, you've probably have some, let's say, contempt when it comes to schedules, some negativity. Some people say it's like having a stick up your butt. Other people say it's being too neat. Others say, there's no joy, no fluidity in life this way, no spontaneity, I think is the how you pronounce that word. Um, and yes, that is kind of true, but at the same time, I believe it's mostly because people are using schedules horribly wrong. So today, I guess I want to give you my take on schedules, and see if that maybe opens you up to the possibility of using one yourself, because I believe they are really worth it if you use them right. So the main problem that many schedules have is that they are basically more in-depth to-do lists. They're to-do lists that have a time and a date. From this time to this time, you go to the gym. From this time to this time, you work. At this time, you go grocery shopping, and so on and so forth. And the rest of it is just empty space. And in that empty space is what you're looking forward to. But if you use your schedule this way, all you're doing is you're not going to look forward to anything that's on the schedule. You're going to create that white space to do whatever, which is also not necessarily productive or helpful to you, and you're focusing on the wrong thing with the entire schedule. The schedule is not meant to make you utterly productive. That's what it's being used for, but that's not necessarily the best way to use it. The way that I use schedules and the way that I teach my clients to use schedules is so that they're happy at the end of the day. Because a lot of us, especially when it comes to this empty white space in those calendars or in those schedules, we just mess around. Go on Twitter, on Facebook, we watch random YouTube videos, we waste time. And I want my clients and myself to live, not to exist, not to waste time. And for that, a schedule is paramount. It's really important to use one effectively. So let me give you just an example, because this is all a little bit out there. Let's say you schedule in your time as you normally do in your schedule. You schedule on your meals, you schedule on sleep, work, maybe even the exercises, and maybe some hobbies or time with friends. But you still have, on average, having done this with clients, you usually still have about 24 hours left that are unscheduled, even if you schedule all of that. What are you going to do in those 24 hours throughout the week? Now, most people just chill. They do nothing. And at the end of the week, they don't really feel relaxed. They don't really feel better. They feel fine because all they did in that time was something that was fine. But what if instead you scheduled some fun activities in? What if instead you planned time in advance to really enjoy yourself? What if you planned a movie night? Maybe just for yourself. What if you planned to take a nice bath? What if you planned to paint? Of course, the creativity may not come to you when it's a scheduled time like this. But chances are much more likely that over the course of the weeks, the months, the years, you'll have created more art pieces. You'll have become more creative because you planned time for it. And you'll likely feel better, even if no amazing masterpieces came out of it, than if you barely painted and still no masterpieces came out of it, because that's usually what happens. Giving yourself the freedom to do what you want when you want doesn't mean you will do what you want when you want. You're just you're essentially making yourself available to live by the schedules of other people, especially if you're trying to entertain yourself, because the entertainment industry spends millions, like hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe even more, probably even more, collectively, on getting you attached to their form of entertainment. They want you to use it over and over and over and over again. Whether that's views on TV shows, clicks on YouTube videos, purchases on internet websites. It doesn't matter. They want you to use their entertainment system. That's how they make money. So they're spending a lot, which means there's a pretty good chance that there's a reason for that and it might actually work to get you more addicted, to get you to consume their content. The problem with this is that you're much more likely to fall victim to this when you don't have your own agenda. You'll just follow theirs. Because you don't know what you want to do. You just kind of let go, and then you're being taken in by whatever comes along. And that's kind of what they rely on. Because let's be honest, if you actually planned what you wanted to do, let's say you planned time into to play an instrument. Right? You've never played an instrument before, you want to pick it up, okay, in your schedule you put it in 1 hour every other day. What would you have done instead in that hour every other day? How many Netflix shows have you binged in those empty spaces? How many YouTube videos have you consumed? And was that really all that fun? Was that more fun than the times that you had planned fun? I don't think so. It's nicer, it's easier, it's less responsibility, but it also doesn't really make you feel recharged. I mean, how many Mondays have you woken up in the morning and felt like the weekend just, like, nothing really happened and you didn't really recharge and you still feel as crappy as you did on Sunday evening, on Saturday evening, on Friday, and all of last week? How many times have you repeated the same weekly cycle with the same habits in your empty spaces and have gotten nothing out of it? Isn't that kind of the definition of insanity, to do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results? What if you tried it differently? What if you made a schedule whose main priority, or which main's priority, whatever, you get what I'm saying, is for you to have fun, is for you to have a great time by the end of the week at least, but hopefully also by the end of the day. What do you think you'd do with all that time? And I'm even saying that, among all those hobbies that you might schedule, you schedule in some time to relax. You schedule in some time to browse Twitter, to look at Facebook, to watch some of your Netflix shows. But make it planned time and put a limit on it. There's no such thing as a negative activity. It's just that the overuse of activities is what makes them bad. It's the uncontrolledness. Watching a TV show on Netflix or watching a YouTube video is totally fine and if it makes you feel better, afterwards than before, it's a good thing to do. It's a great thing to do. You'll feel recharged. But if because you watched one, you have to watch another and another and another and another, then it becomes a problem. Because then you're watching those videos or those shows instead of doing some other things that you should be doing, and it's taking away from life. Gain back control over how you spend your time instead of letting other people control your time. Because someone has to control it, and you have to do something with the time. Either you control it or someone else will. If you spend your time consciously, if you decided on what things you wanted to do, if you decided on where you wanted to go, if you decided what would be the best thing to do, it's very likely that you would have much more fun, much more joy, would progress a lot faster, and by the end of the day would become more productive. So schedule time with your kids, schedule time with your partner, schedule time to relax, schedule time to take your mind off of things, and schedule time to chase hobbies, to enjoy life, to do all of those things that sound weird scheduling. And then interact with that schedule, because life is a mess. That's the other problem that most people do with their schedules. They become slaves to the schedule. They say, I have to do this at this time, and it has to happen that way. No, screw that. Of course, work has to maybe happen that way, but that's maybe the only thing. The other things are flexible. If you didn't go grocery shopping today as you put it in your schedule, then cross it out and put it in some other place in the week. That's fine. You don't always have to be so rigid. You can be fluid and creative there. If you want to spend more time with your kids than the time you originally scheduled for, then change the other things. But what that also does is it makes you focus on what's more important to you. And when you're spending time with your kids. And the next thing on your list is maybe relaxing and watching a Netflix show. But you're really enjoying the time you spend with your kids, then you might say, okay, you know what? I don't want to watch this Netflix show right now. I'm gonna spend more time with my kids, because that to me is higher on the priority list than a Netflix show. Vice versa, if you haven't watched Netflix at all, or YouTube videos, or whatever you usually do to get your mind off things, and your kids have been really exhausting, then the priorities might shift a little bit. But as long as you interact with how you spend your time, you will find out where your priorities lie, what seems more important to you than other things. And as long as you act with those priorities in mind, what will happen is that you'll feel much more fulfilled at the end of the day, because you're taking control over your life. You're doing what matters to you, not what matters to other people, not what matters to even the past you. Because the past you wasn't in the situation right now. But for that, you have to schedule it. Because if there's white space, if there's empty space on your calendar, you don't know what to change that with. Oh, now I have free time. Is this free time going to make me feel better or worse? I don't know. You don't know. Because you don't even know what you're going to do in that time. You're going to be very likely to waste it in some way, shape, or form. You're very likely to have that be an uncontrolled time. And then whatever's next in the schedule has a much slimmer chance of actually being done. It's usually how it goes. So, practically what this means is I would love it if everyone that's watching this video would take out just a spreadsheet or a piece of paper and cut it down into days: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and the hours of the day. Every single hour of the day. And then you just schedule everything. You make that schedule full. And you run with it next week. And then you see how that makes you feel overall. And chances are very likely that you'll get more done, you'll feel better, and things will you'll feel more fulfilled, and you'll progress further. Likely, you'll even be more productive. And likely, you'll feel better. Try it out. Test it out for a week. It might not work so well this week, so be willing to change some things, be willing to cross things out, and move the schedule around. But try it. See if that doesn't make you feel better than if you just let your time go. Hope this helps some of you get a better handle on things. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.